Okay, here we go. Lesson video number 3 of this module, the second module. So we've talked about your nonverbals, and now we're going to talk about her nonverbal cues. This is massively important. Cannot reiterate this enough, and we'll dive in. For a period of time in my life, I worked for a consulting company. They flew me all over the continental U.S. to teach on emotional intelligence. So I taught to corporations and private groups. And for that season of my life, I lived on the road. It wasn't necessarily my favorite. And because I lived in California, I was one of their only consultants that they flew to Hawaii on a regular basis. I know, rough life. Occasionally on a plane, I would meet an individual that I really connected with. On one occasion, a man that I was sitting next to, and we really hit it off, and he invited me out to get some drinks with a few of his friends, and I agreed to go out and meet him. His name was Mitch. Ironically, that night I also met the mayor of Honolulu. Totally random. So I showed up at the bar and met Mitch and his friends, and they were a bunch of fun. But if you're anything like me, showing up to a bar with a bunch of strangers takes some navigating. One of his friends was a local Hawaiian woman. She was attractive. I was sitting next to her, so I struck up a conversation. At this point in the evening, she didn't know who I was or why I was there with their group at the bar, so I was a total stranger, right? One of those cold scenarios that I was telling you about. When she and I first started our conversation, she was looking down at the table more consistently than looking me in the eye. She leaned away inward toward the table and was looking over at her friend and not me most of the time. Mind you, this is all happening fairly quickly, so after a little bit, I went down to the other end of the table and met one of Mitch's other friends. We struck up a conversation. He's actually a really good dude. And what I didn't know was that when I went down to the other end of the table, Mitch shared with the two ladies that I was a consultant who he met on a plane earlier that day, and he shared with them that my topic of expertise, emotional intelligence. The conversation at the other end of the table was fading where I was, so I floated back to where I originally began. Now, what was very interesting is that both of the two ladies now had very different postures toward me. The first lady that I met, can't even remember her name, turned her chair toward me and started to caress her drink. All of a sudden, she was laughing at everything that I was saying, and now, when she was looking at me, she tilted her head slightly. Her friend, who was sitting with her, was smiling and looking not at me, but watching to see how her friend was reacting. Did you notice the subtleties in this interaction? In the previous video, I made the statement that when you're able to read her body language, she's going to easily tell you that it's okay to approach. And I also made the comment, pickup lines are useless unless in her mind you've met the proper conditions. Monica Moore, PhD at Webster University, did a study in which she followed 200 women at singles bars, restaurants, parties, and a few other specific events. Mona created a list of 52 nonverbal attributes that women do when they flirt. And for our purposes, nonverbal flirting lets you know it's okay to approach. Remember, guys, without these signals, there's a high probability that there will be rejection if you do approach. For the next few moments, I'm going to address a few of the basics. In the bonus section below, you'll receive a list of Monica's full 52 gestures of flirtation. And that list included tilting of their heads, giving particular men short glances. Right? She looks up and she looks away before darting her eyes when he looked, running their fingers through their hair, licking their lips. Women don't even know they're doing it at times. It's really funny, actually. Exposing their necks by pulling aside their hair, showing the palms to men, hiking up their skirts a little to reveal more leg. I know. Turning in their seats, caressing an object. For the next few moments, we're going to take a look at a few of those gestures that research says, yes, she's giving me the signals and wants me to approach. Dwayne Welch of Love Science says that you can really boil Monica's research down into two basic gestures: the smile and the look combination. If she's not smiling at you or making consistent eye contact, move along or come up with a game plan for differentiation. Welch narrows this down to this equation: if a man doesn't have a smile, no eye crinkles equals fake smile equals why waste your time? Then she goes on to describe three basic different looks that a woman will give, and usually it's telling, right? Number one, the entire room scan. Number two, the brief darting glance. And number three, the steady gaze of longer than 3 seconds. The smile look combination, the entire room scan. This generally communicates that she's open to approach, but you need more information, right? The brief darting glance. This is where she looks at you multiple times, and when you look at her, she darts her eyes away. A good recommendation, if in a public setting, is to move to another area in the room to see if she's tracking. Number three, and the steady gaze of longer than 3 seconds duration. Duana says that men find this one hard to resist. And when I talk about this with women, they say it's just really, really hard to do for them, even if they're interested in a guy. The genuine eye crinkle smile in combination with the look is usually a good indicator that that you can successfully approach. So the smile, eye crinkling smile, in combination with one of these three looks is a good bet that she's inviting you over to approach. After this video, please read through the full PDF in order to see just how women externally react when they are inviting you. No women are the same. Please take into account lack of self-confidence and a variety of other factors could come into play. That's my caveat, obviously. But the nonverbals are a combination of comprehensive communication. The smile look combination is a great place to begin. Right? So back to the story. I'm in Honolulu with a bunch of strangers in a bar, and there's a sudden change when I come back to the original side of the table where I began. What changed between me and the attractive Hawaiian woman? Let's take a closer look. When I first arrived at the scene with the gentleman that I sat next to on the plane, and I struck up the conversation with the attractive woman next to me, her nonverbals were looking down at the table and not in my eye. She leaned inward toward the table. She was actually making more eye contact with her friends sitting in the same circle. And there it is. Enough information for me to move very quickly on to the other side of the table. I cannot state this clearly enough. If you're not getting the signal soon, move on. There are other reasons, and I'll mention that later. A very important communication took place between she and Mitch. Mitch, a man whom she highly respected and trusted, shared with her why I was there in my field of expertise. So let's break this down. Mitch created the social support she needed for trust and safety. He shared my expertise, emotional intelligence, which interested her, and that my company, the company that I work for, flew me to Hawaii. So social support in her mind leads to safety. Emotional intelligence in her mind was someone who is intelligent and confident. Emotional intelligence also communicated a point of interest. Right? Point of interest are massively important, and I also was a consultant, and in her mind that was high social status. And therefore she perceived me to be confident, intelligent, with high social status, and that led me to differentiation, which led to an opportunity with her. And her nonverbals that she communicated to me were turned her chair toward me. Right, she squared up her body posture. She started caressing her drink, laughing and smiling at what I said, tilted her head when I spoke. This is a very feminine gesture. Remember, this is just a different form of communication. We have to learn how to listen to what she is saying. In her mind, it's a dance. Women love to dance. In later modules, when we discuss long-term fun and success, This dance is vital to how your relationship is going to thrive in the future. So let's recap. Monica Moore's 52 gestures, and that's in the PDF below. The smile look combination, the 3 types of looks and their meaning, and the case study of the Hawaiian woman. No interest that ultimately led to differentiation. Right? So up next, she's inviting you to approach. Now what are you going to do? You've read the nonverbals. Don't screw it up, because you easily can. I'll see you in the next video. It's been good hanging. Peace.